Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watch You Want, and thanks for logging on. Today we are looking at one for the classicists. This is the Breitling TransOcean 38 in stainless steel. You can see this classically inspired Breitling TransOcean Grand Date on our website, watchyouwant.com. Purchase it there, and if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Watch You Want Inc. You can also click on the card in the upper right-hand corner of this video at any time during the video to see our full listing for this watch with accessories listed, additional photographs, warranty remaining, and of course, full pricing information. Now you can see on my wrist 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference. This is about as far from Breitling for Bentley as you can get. Now there are two types of Breitling fans, those who prefer the more traditional styles, the vintage watches from the pre-Schneider era, those who love the classical TransOceans from the 50s that inspired this reference, and of course then there are those who love Breitling for Bentley, who love the oversized references, who love the bigger, badder, in-your-face models. Well, this is not one for them. This watch is about as tastefully restrained and refined as Breitling gets in the modern era. Now you can see on my wrist it is a beautifully formed watch with large, flowing, gorgeous lugs that add a great deal of character to the flanks of the case. Some oversized watches are effectively all case, there being no room left to add lugs and still fit a client's wrist. This is the opposite of that, with beautiful compound curves. They have tumble home to the outside and a powerful, sensuous thrust down around the wrist. Now the nice thing is they're matched with a beautifully formed case. This one's only 13 millimeters thick, but it has a gorgeous domed bezel and stepped flank, so it actually rides far lower on the wrist in conjunction with its cupped case back. It gives a tight sleeve or a dress cuff an easy running start up and over. No problems there. Now the watch does have a full wrist presence because of those large lugs. It has a 48.5 millimeter lug to lug span, so although it is a 38 millimeter case across the round of the case, it's by no means undersized. It's neither oversized, it's perfectly sized, and it's a gorgeous watch. This is one of the few references that can pull off a full polished case bezel and lug combination without appearing gaudy. It appears right. Now the watch is paired with a beautiful, classically inspired black Sahara leather strap. Now this is calfskin, and it's been imprinted with a texture that Breitling calls Sahara. Now it is minimally bolstered, but it does have a little bit of bolster that is nicely matched to the flow and thickness of the lugs as they abut the case, and there's a gorgeous contrasting white stitch worked in. Gorgeous vintage inspired, like the watch itself, and it's matched to a classic and beautifully made pin buckle with the imprinted Breitling corporate marquee. Now, the watch itself features some outstanding design choices from the Breitling styling team. First and foremost, I want to call out the minimal bezel, which is beautifully sloped. It's sort of like a silver halo. It slinks and slips and slides away from the dial itself. So while this watch is 38 millimeters, Breitling chooses to express the dial rather than the bezel, opening up the watch face and making it appear larger on the wrist. There's also a wonderfully domed sapphire. Now, sapphires do not have to be this high or this rounded in the modern era. The reason for this is that Breitling wanted to create the look of a vintage plexi, get a little bit of that tall crystal look, a little bit of the oblique distortion that a plexiglass from the 1950s brings to a classic timepiece. And of course, this is a classically inspired timepiece, born of the image of the 1950s Breitling TransOcean line. Moving inboard, other outstanding styling choices were made. First and foremost, Breitling decided to give this watch a matte black dial. The matte black dial ensures optimal contrast with the white printing, the lume dots, and the polished and faceted indices at each hour station. It also allows the gold applied Breitling marquee at 12 o'clock to really pop. Now, the other great decision Breitling made here is to give the watch the soul of a sports watch, which is to say, all of the hour indices feature an outboard lume dot and the hands at center are lumed, so you can see this one in low or no light. Now, another feature that I'm going to show you to good advantage by moving the minute hand here is that the double-digit Grand Date uses beautifully stepped windows to transition down from the dial base to the date discs without a sheer cut through the dial. There isn't just a sheer break, there is a step down that aids the transition from a visual standpoint, and then the use of monotone black date discs as opposed to a jarring white or a lighter color was just an inspired choice. Finally, Breitling caps off the minimalist design and the classical cues with a flush, small seconds, minimally calibrated at 6 o'clock. Now this could easily have been a countersunk guilloche subdial. It could have been over-calibrated. It could have outstayed its welcome. Instead, it's a small accent on the overall dial that doesn't mar the clean lines and the smooth sweep of that matte black dial base. It also allows Breitling to create a beautiful vertical axis from the marquee at 12 o'clock to the Swiss-made signature at 6 that flows down through the marquee, the date, the hands at center, the sub-seconds down to the index at 6 o'clock. It gives the watch a beautiful symmetry from left to right. Now finally, the watch does feature a chronometer spec Breitling caliber 16 underneath this case back. You can see it as a solid case back featuring the classic double aircraft logo of the 1950s TransOceans. This one, I should mention, is in exceptional unworn condition. And the watch, with its caliber 16, features a 42-hour power reserve, smooth bidirectional winding. It is a COSC certified Swiss chronometer, so exceptionally accurate, and it's based on the ultra-thin and ultra-tough ETA 2892A2. So you have a quick change for the double-digit date. You also have a hacking function, so when you pull the crown, I should mention the watch achieves 100 meters without a screw down. It does stop the balance, allowing precise synchronization of the seconds hand to a known accurate reference time or clock. This watch packs a surprising amount of content into its handsome and classically styled 38mm case. If you're a Breitling classicist, if you love vintage but you want modern fit, finish, water resistance, and durability, you need to consider the Breitling TransOcean 38 in stainless steel, and you can see it on our website, watchyouwant.com.